Okay, we got Mr. and Mrs. White tonight, y'all. Um, they're gonna tell y'all their story. So we got two beauty professionals,
Mhm.
cosmetologists and barber, and they've been in the industry a very long time, longer than some of y'all have been alive. But it's not gonna take up a lot of time because they got a great story. They're gonna go way back to childhood and bring us up to where they are now. So I'm not gonna talk a lot. I just want y'all to start off like we always do, childhood, bring everybody up to speed to where we are now.
Okay. Well, my name is Keith White. This is my wife, Trail White. We're from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Um, Myself, I'm gonna start off, and then she will say her part. But since the age of 15, I always wanted to be a barber. Kind of grew up in the household. When you turn a certain age, 18, you had to do something with your life. So both of my parents were educators, so I knew when I graduated, I had to make a decision on what I wanted to do with my life. So, I didn't really want to go the traditional route, go to college. So I followed my passion and became a barber. So now I've been barbering now for the last 30 years. And it's our passion. So my passion's kind of changed now. I enjoy the teaching side, but um, that's where we are. So I'm gonna let my wife introduce herself, and then we'll go further on in our discussion.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chantrell. I'm a licensed cosmetologist and instructor for the last 25 years. I started out as doing hair in the house, my mama kitchen, doing church folk and random people in the neighborhood. It's always been a love of mine, especially I love to cut and color hair. So I've always had bald head, baby dolls, and cutting off people's hair because that's always been my thing. Um, Pretty much this is what I love to do. Me and my husband, we decided to open the barber college up. And I said, well, I might as well go ahead and get my dual degree and go ahead and be a barber too. So I have my apprentice and I'm waiting to take my test to become a registered barber. So that's where we are right now.
Now, when you all got out of high school, tell us what y'all did when y'all graduated from high school.
Okay, so me, I went straight to barber school from high school, and went to Winston-Salem Barber School. I was planning to go to college. I had applied, went to college to go to college and everything. But when I got close to deciding what I wanted to do, I said, look, I'm going to barber college. I'm gonna follow my passion. And I went to Winston-Salem Barber College straight out of high school. Got right into the profession at an early age. So at 19, I was already a licensed professional barber, and I began my career, my hometown, Fayetteville, North Carolina, where we are now. And just been doing it. It was great for me because to come back home because my parents were there, gave me an opportunity to work and stay home with them for a while, build myself up. So after 2 years or so, I moved out on my own and just started taking care of myself off the money that I was making as a barber. So that's how my career began. Ms. White.
Well, I didn't go straight. I always knew I wanted to do hair, but I didn't go straight into it after I graduated high school. I went and worked in a factory. It was called Black and Decker. Probably about maybe 2.5 years. And I knew from working there, I didn't want to be there for no 30, 40 years like other people. So when I left there, I went straight into cosmetology school. They told me it would take me about a year and a half to get done. I buckled down and got done in 9 months. I went right back probably about a month later and got my instructor's license. So yeah, that's how I got mine going.
Good.
How did y'all even meet? Tell us about that.
That's interesting.
Well, it's through pretty much like a mutual friend, I guess. It was just like, want y'all go ahead and go out, and that's what we did, and the rest is history.
The two things we had in common, first, we both were God-fearing people. And the second thing was we both was in the hair industry. So our conversation always revolved around that, long conversations, and it just kind of clicked for us. It took a while for me, personally, it took a while to to get settled down mentally to say I'm gonna make this woman my wife. But I knew early on when I first met her that she was gonna be my wife.
Where was y'all's first date?
What was our first date?
Where is it?
Oh, we were supposed to go to the movies, but we end up just riding around the city and just talking. We talked all night long, and that was pretty much it, you know. And then from there, you know, we've had a lot of interesting dates over the years, but that's how it started, just riding around, conversation. It never stopped, and we've been talking ever since. Yeah.
Now, when you first started working in the shop, well, no, when y'all went to school, how was that as far as working on the clinic floor, theory? Tell us about how the school went.
You start off now.
The school, when I went, I actually signed up through a technical school. It was Federal Tech Community College that I signed up through, but they asked you if you want to go outsource to the other colleges in the area because they didn't have the program at the time. So I chose to go to Federal Beauty College. When I went in there, it was all kinds of people in there. They was pretty much on top of each other. It was like maybe at least 40 to 50 people, women, some men in there. So I already knew then that I had to get in and get out. That wasn't something I kind of wanted to hang around and make it longer than what it had to be.
Now, how did you graduate in 9 months though? You must have been on the ball.
Well, yeah. The good thing about it was I was signed up through Federal Tech, so I could go through their program. So whenever the private school I was at, whenever they were opening pretty much year round, and when Federal Tech was closed, I didn't go by their schedule. I just kept going.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith?
Yeah, well, like I said, I graduated, went straight to barber school. My experience was when I got there, it was first day hands-on experience. So I started cutting hair right away once I got there. It was predominantly, it was a Caucasian-owned school, but it was predominantly Black students there. So we didn't have an instructor. We had to kind of learn from one another. The instructor was Caucasian male, and although he was a good instructor, he couldn't really show us how to cut curly, kinky hair. So we kind of learned from one another, and you know, it was a great time. I really enjoyed that time I had there with the camaraderie ship and those things like that. But it was a pretty good time there. It was probably one of the best times of my life, really, being in barber school.
Now, what about when you first started working at the shop?
Okay, well, I started at my childhood barbershop, the shop I grew up in, worked there for a while. Great atmosphere, people loved me there, but I didn't really make any money. So then, of course, we're in a military town, Fort Liberty, and you know, coming back to Fayetteville, I knew this was a great opportunity for barbers because of the military. So I went to a busy area in our city. And that's really when I started really to make money and start to build my clientele. I got to a shop called C&J Barbershop, worked there for about 6.5, 7 years. And that's really when I got my start, really started to build my business. I had a great mentor there, Mr. Jimmy Pitchford, which was, I call him my godfather of the barber game, because he really showed me how to operate a business. And, you know, he was a Christian man, no cursing in the shop. And it was a relaxed atmosphere. We had a good time. It was more like a family. And from there, I opened my own shop. So I've been on my own shop since 2000. So, you know, that's how my career has taken place.
Chantrell?
Yeah. When you in the shop.
Oh, so when I started the shop after the matter of fact, the day that I graduated, I went straight into the shop. I worked with pretty much, I was the youngest one in there. It was Miss Ethel Good is the one that hired me. She hired me on as commission. Well, I didn't know anything about commission, so it was like 50-50. So, you know, I won't make much money. So I think I worked for her maybe I say 3 or 4 years, and it was off. And I learned real fast that location is everything, because it was off the road and it was one of the kind of shops where you had to have your own clientele or you weren't gonna make it. So I was just pretty much kind of getting somebody here and there. And by that time I had already left my parents' house and I had to try, get some bills paid. So I left there. And at the time it was called Fort Bragg hair salon, but of course now it's Fort Liberty. But I went out there and I probably went out there for like 6 or 7 years. I pretty much made a good clientele, and I got a mixed crowd. I got all kinds of whatever, and I got to learn how to do a lot of straight hair. And before it was over with, that was really my thing, cutting straight hair with razors and doing color. And so I kind of got into, I guess, being in that atmosphere and people coming from all kinds of all sides of the world. I got a chance to meet different people and see their cultures and how they like their hair. So it kind of helped me to be more vast in my career.
Now, when did you start thinking about getting your own shop? Because you say you worked there, what, 6 or 7 years?
Yeah. During that time, I've always, when I got into the career as a barber, already in my mind, I knew I wanted to own a shop. So it wasn't long after I started building my clientele. I say maybe that second or third year, I began to, look for buildings or, look at my opportunities I might have. And pretty much what I did, I started to carry myself in a certain way, like I wanted to be the boss. So I started carrying myself in a manner like I was very professional. I wear my wristwatch. I wear nice dress shoes and like my slacks, just trying to, walk into where I wanted to eventually be. So really the only reason I really left the shop was because of necessity. I really got to the point where I was on a percentage situation, and I got to the point where, the owner was not willing to give me any more leeway for as a higher percentage or booth rental. So I decided to, at that time, it was no love loss or nothing like that, but I just said, it's time for me to make my move. So I opened my shop in 2001. It started off as a little boutique where I was selling hats and things like that. I was running back and forth to New York trying to make a little side hustle. So it ended up getting a little bit bigger, selling clothes, hats, and I was selling my trunk of my car, cutting hair. So it ended up being a business. So that's really how I started my shop. I call it Ballerwell Barbershop. It started off as a boutique, but my mom told me, she said, "Baby, why don't you just follow your passion?" So I ended up turning the boutique into a little small barbershop, and that's really how my business began. And that was in 2000. Tell about your business.
My business started in, let me see, I think 2006, I want to say. I started, it was just me. And I ended up getting to a shopping center. It was Utah Shopping Center on Brad Boulevard. It was on the back side of the shopping center. Somebody had already set up a shop there, and it was for rent. And I said, and at the time I was like, you know what, I might as well just go ahead and try it. I ain't had nothing else to lose. So I went in by myself, basically no clientele, because keep in mind, I left from off of Fort Bragg. Some people followed me, some people didn't, but it wasn't enough to pay the rent. So what I did, I just did some footwork. I got out there with the flyers, maybe some flyers up and passing out cards. And eventually I got some other people. It was a 5-chair shop. And eventually I say about over maybe a year's time, I got the shop was full. And I made everybody, most of them that were coming out were people that I taught in cosmetology school. So they were coming over to me. So that meant all of us had to get out, and we were on the grind trying to get a clientele built because they didn't have a clientele. I really didn't have much of a clientele to maintain the shop. I had enough to pay my bills, but not enough to maintain the shop. So we're all out passing out flyers and giving out deals on the slow days, $10, $15 off. You give like a free hairdo on your birthday, and little deals to try to keep people interested. And of course, customer service is key. So we did a whole lot of customer service and customer service days and things like that to try to keep the shop going. So I moved from there, and then I went to Yakin Road, and I've been on Yakin Road for probably about 13, 14 years now.
Now, y'all been, Chantrell's been in the industry 25 years, Keith 30 years. What would you all tell your younger self if y'all could go back to 25 years, 30 years? What would you do? What would you not do?
I don't know if it's anything I regret far as my career. I think it's prepared me for now. So the experiences that we've been through, or I've been through personally as a shop owner, and you know, as a barber coming up, it's the experiences that now we're able to share to our students. So a lot of our lessons, things when we teaching in classes, a lot of practical stuff because we really have experienced this in the industry. So it's easy to relate to my students. So I don't know if it's anything that I would regret. Like we've had a comfortable lifestyle as a stylist and barber, and you know, really there's nothing I regret other than just maybe I don't know if I regret anything. I mean, it's as far as my career goes, I've had a great career. I don't have I've been blessed not to have any physical situations like carpal tunnel or, you know, bad back and stuff like that. We've been blessed, but I'm not taking it for granted. That's why we have, you know, moved on and opened the school now. But we've been blessed. I'm not physically tired, but sometimes I do get mentally tired just dealing with clients and the everyday business. But other than that, I don't have any regrets on how my career has transpired.
Well, I think my younger me would have told myself to plan a little bit better as far as my finances. I wouldn't have lived out of my pocket so much. When I say that, I mean, like, say for instance, I go to work on Friday, I make $600-700. Friday night, I spend $200. Oh, I'll be all right. I'll make it back tomorrow. My older self don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I took that money, I'd invested it. I would have invested more money. I would have probably put more money away. I would put a whole lot more towards my retirement. And that's what we kind of tell our students now, like, you know, put some money towards retirement because you work for yourself. If you can't put some money in some type of account where you can go on vacation, because at the end of the day, if you don't put no money away, ain't nobody giving you none. So if you don't go to work, you don't make no money. So when you go into work, make it count. So, yeah.
Now, what do y'all see with the new barbers and stylists versus the people that's been in the industry 20, 30 years? What do y'all see that's different or anything?
Oh, yeah. They all together different. I don't think they take as much pride. As far as like the cosmetologists, the new ones here, they don't take as much pride because they don't look like the career that they're in. And a lot of them do it as like a side job. Oh, this is what I do on the side. Like when my husband said, we lived off of this. It's a great income, but you got to put the time in. And a lot of them, they don't want to put the time in. It's just like if it don't happen in 30 days, or they might give it 31 days. If it don't happen in that time period, they quit and they go on to something else. There's no longevity. There's no passion. It's just, oh, I see the money, and I want the money, but I don't want to put the time in to get it. And like I said, they don't look the part. You can't. I know back in the, like, probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you could tell who was a barber, who was a stylist, because they looked like their career. They were sharp as far as the barbers go, well-groomed, smelled good, rolled good. Cosmetologists, their hair was always done, always had a face on, long nails and bangles and things. You knew a stylist when you saw them. Nowadays, you don't know what they do. You're like, oh, I do hair. Oh, you do hair. And they would look at you and like, and that's how people choose you, like, as far as if they were going to sit in your chair. You had to look the part. And nowadays, you can't tell who is who and what is what. So a lot of times we push that, you know, appearance is everything. Appearance, customer service, and it's all that is lacking in today's time, I think.
Yeah, well, from a barber's perspective, just the fact of the enhancements. Of course, I use enhancement as a barber. I'm not one of those barbers who don't believe in it, but a lot of times what we find in the shop is that they use enhancements to cover up, you know, their work. And, you know, so that kind of has watered down the profession, I think, for a skill level. Also, you know, it's kind of hard to train a barber who has a mindset of what Pookie Barbershop was. It's kind of hard to break them from that, to understand that barbering is so much bigger. And then this our neighborhood barbershop. So we, you know, one of the things that we do at our school is that we take them on field trips. And I mean, we are really monthly, we're doing this, and we try to introduce them to all different type of shop owners, get them to see the profession from a different perspective, more than just what they know from Pookie's Barbershop, or, you know, try to broaden their perspective on the profession, because it's so much bigger than what we just know or what we've seen. So that's the thing, just trying to open their minds, open their so they can see further than, you know, what they've already seen. So that's a challenge, because they already have a preconceived idea of what barbering is. So, but other than that, you know, like everything my wife said as well. You know.
Now, we didn't grow up with the social media in the beauty industry. So can y'all talk about that? Because I know we used to do flyers, postcards, you know, all that type of stuff. So can y'all elaborate on when this social media hit this beauty industry?
Oh, that's big. That is big. Because I'm just thinking about when we opened our school, we didn't do any radio. Everything we did was through social media. Of course, my sister is a PR person, so she got in contact with some of the news agencies. So we got some press, like we got the Favorable Press, and the Federal Observer was on the front page, and then also on one of the local news stations, we were on that. So that was good, but really everything that we got for us publicity came off of our social media. We landed our students based upon social media. So I think it's huge as it relates to us as school owners, and you know, getting the word out to the masses. So of course we do a lot of Facebook, a lot of Instagram. So that's really how we attract the students. So it's huge for us. So yeah.
What about you, Chantrell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think social media is like you can't get around it, because that's where we are. That's that day and age. There's nothing wrong with passing out flyers and, you know, that type of thing. But how many times have you seen a flyer on your window, like we did probably 20 years ago, and actually took it and read it? Most of the time we just kind of fling it on over. If it's not something we can scan and go into somebody's website, or I guess look on social media with Instagram or whatever, see what kind of styles they're doing, or what kind of businesses they're running, or what their reviews are. We don't want to mess with it. So you can't. The older generation has to really come, like myself, have to come up and join what's going on now. You'll be lost. Yeah.
Now, what do y'all think that the older generation, the majority of them are kind of hesitant with the social media, or kind of behind, or some of them, I guess, hesitated or procrastinated when this social media started hitting?
Well, I don't even think it's so much that I think it's the fear of it. I don't. It's not because they don't know how, because a lot of them, they have all these smartphones and everything else. And then they have like a younger generation around. Everybody has somebody young around that can show them how to do it. I think it's just the fear of it, and they don't know if they're going to be able to compete in today's society as far as like different hairstyles and things like that. So they just don't even mess with it. And their favorite word is, "Oh, I ain't got to do all that." And really, if you want to stay relevant, you have to do all that. You got to know a little bit about everything. And I think that's where the kind of clash comes in with the younger generation and the older one. The younger one saying, "I ain't doing all that old stuff." And then the older one saying, "I ain't doing all that young stuff." But you have to have a happy medium to be able to survive in the industry. You have to keep the foundation, I think. Well, I know you got to keep the foundation, but you still have to be putting on new layers of what's current.
Oh yeah, I would agree. It just reminded me when I had some younger barbers come in the shop. I'm the old head in the shop now. I'm about to turn 50, but all my barbers that work in the barber shop, they're in their 20s and in their early 30s. So I can remember the time when I had one of my younger barbers come in, and he had the pair of the gold FX cordless clippers. Well, I'm old school. I had the T outliner and with the cord, the gray Andes, and I put a nice sharp edge up, but he was doing it with such ease coming straight out of barber school. And I looked at him for a while, but I went over there and said, man, what you using? Because, what it was making his job, his work was so much easier. And from that point on, I knew that I couldn't just stay back in how I used to do things. I got to really move forward. So I started adding some new tools. I kind of got stuck, and a lot of barbers do this. You get stuck, you use what you've been using, it's working. Same thing with social media. I don't have to do that. We get stuck and we start to lose our clientele because we're not relevant. So when a young kid or a young client comes to me now, they want the Instagram haircut. They want the enhancements. They want that sharp, crispy line. So as a barber, you're gonna have to learn as an older barber, you got to learn how to move with the time, the trends. You can't just stay stuck, because if you stay stuck, you're gonna get left behind. So you just got to find ways to stay relevant in social media and also in just the profession in general.
Now, when did y'all start thinking about a school? When did that first come into y'all's brain or whatever? How did that come about?
Okay, so I've always kind of been wanting a school. And one of the first times really I saw somebody that inspired me to open a school was Chin. And this was back before social media. This was back when I don't know if he was in Ebony or Black Enterprise, but it was you were sitting there on laid back on a Cadillac, black Cadillac, and I think you were around 26 years old. We kind of close in age, and I was trying to open a shop, but you was opening a school. I said, ain't no way a man 26 years old opening a barber school. So really, man, in a way, you inspire me even back then, man. I'm always been a visionary. I would do vision boards, and we're big on vision, vision boards and things. And I had one on my refrigerator. I remember listening that I want to have a barber school, and that was probably that was in the early 2000s. So that's been a while. I don't even know when, probably 2003, 2004. But whenever that article you wrote, that article, that was that time.
That was
And
2000.
I never knew that we were connected this time, but it was just, that was the first time I said, you know what, I want to open me a barber school. But to fast forward, you want to talk about COVID. Let's talk about COVID.
Okay. So we decided to open it up during COVID because, as you know, all the barbershops and salons, we had to close down. So a lot of our time was spent in the house. And like you said, we have our vision boards. We go from year to year or 3 to 5 years, how we set our goals. But we was out in the garage, exercising every day, wanting enough to do. And we was just like dream casting pretty much. It was like, okay, we got to find our exit route from behind these chairs. And to us, the school was the ultimate thing to do. So seemed like we started looking around, like going to different places around town or whatever, and we finally settled on the business where we are now. And what's so ironic to me is that this same building that we're in now, I went there. That's where I went to school at 25 years ago. So it was ironic to me to walk through the halls and like just remember certain things when I was there. And So it's just surreal to me just to be in that position. And I remember that the lady that was over the school at the time is Barney Harmon. She took a chance on me and she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. She was like, I want you to come back as an instructor. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll see. And she was like, no, come on back. You know, like I said, I went back, like as soon as I graduated, I went back, not knowing that this time right here would manifest itself. So moving fast forward, we did, and it was so crazy because we never even met the people that we did the lease with. Everything was through email. I might have talked to them by the time the lease was done. I might have talked to the man that owned the shopping center one time over the phone. He just wanted to hear my voice and see who I was because we're going back and forth about the prices. And I'm like, graduated leases, and I'm like, this is what we want to do. And I said, you got to give us a chance to make it because we're pretty much mom and pop, and we're trying to make this thing happen. We're gonna make it happen because this is what we want to do. Mm-hmm. So I don't know about people and what their beliefs are, but we believe in God heavily, and we believe that He orders our steps. So everything we did with this lease, it was just ordered. Our first 6 months was free, so we had time to build out. He started our lease hundreds of thousands of dollars lower than what they wanted it to be. So we felt like, and we'll tell anybody to this day, if you want to start a business, put God first. Mm-hmm. And I promise you, everything that you needed to be, it'll be right in line when you need it. And also keeping in mind, we wasn't getting any, what do you call it, unemployment during this time. We were living off our savings. Mm-hmm. Mind you, we didn't close our shops down. He has a shop, I have a shop, 2 separate locations. I was still paying my rent, and my rent person, as a matter of fact, was to send me a letter and said, we understand that this is a trying time for you, but basically, we still want our rent. And my rent even went up during that time. But when I tell you, Mr. Chin, we didn't want for anything. Mm-hmm. And we're still, I guess the average person would say, why in the world y'all trying to open a business when y'all ain't even in business right now? Mm-hmm. But that was something we felt like God put on our hearts to do because, yeah, we're trying to make some money. Who's going to be in the business and not trying to make money? But at the same time, we feel like that's our mission in life, to touch lives, to help other people see their vision, to, to grow themselves, to help them to pretty much, I want to say, learn from us, but learn from our mistakes and learn from what we learned in the industry, hopefully, do something themselves. So we got into this building, we built out or whatever. I don't know. It's just like every time we needed the money, it was there. And like I said, we didn't get any money. And I am just happy to say that everything we did. We don't have any loans. We didn't get any loans. We don't have pretty much our PPP. We ain't do no PPPs. We ain't do none of that. God made the way, and we just as elated about it as we can be. We don't have any overhead other than the bills that we have at the place. So like I say, if it's meant to be, it'll be. And everything, if you got to force a thing, I tell anybody, if you got to force something, it ain't yours, because everything should happen just like it should. So yeah, that's what we are.
Yeah.
What you got to say, Keith?
Basically, like she said, we was in the garage and we just kind of began to think about opening a school. So immediately, we kind of started searching the internet, on YouTube. Of course, when you search YouTube, if you're searching for a school, who's gonna show up. So that's how I reconnected with you. Actually, I had a co-worker. He told me about you about maybe 2 years prior. He said, man, this dude named Millionaire Barber, be on Instagram, and you go on his page or whatever. Sometimes you go live, he'll shout you out. I said, okay. So I started following you, but I really didn't pay attention to it. But then again, now COVID hit, and like I said, my wife was telling you, we were home for 2 months, no pay. We began to search, and we start finding the videos, and I just would play the videos over and I listened to everybody's story over and over again. And some of the stories I related so well with them, and it really inspired me. So, and, of course, you say, get your rules and regulations. We did that. And then we started coming out of COVID. We started looking for buildings. The building that we had, we knew it existed, but the price was so astronomical. We felt like we couldn't get it. So we kind of looked around, but we End up coming back to the same place. It had been vacant about 2 years. It was, the old Barber, the beauty college. So, like my wife was telling you, everything worked out. We was able to get into the business. And that was 2000, right at the end of 2000, December. That's when we signed the lease. And it took about 6 months. We opened in. Well, it took about 6 months to build it. I said about July before it was finished, before we got licensed. It was about July of 2001.
Now, when you were watching all the training videos and testimonials and all that, what were you thinking?
I mean, sometimes it sounded like it was too good to be true. But what I find out, this is not clicking your heels. This is not a magic show. This is not something, some kind of get rich quick scheme, because it ain't no quickness about it. It's steps, and you got to follow those steps, and you got to execute yourself. Nobody can, you're gonna have to walk through this process on your own. So, when you first hear it, I think my wife, I can remember her telling me, "Man, they ain't real, baby. They ain't real, baby. They ain't real." But I mean, after we kept on listening to it, and we kept on, and eventually she caught on with me, and we just kept on going. I think the more serious I became, and the more driven I became about it, the more she connected with it as well. So it makes it really easier when you got somebody to believe in you and be with you to make it happen. To do it on my own, I think I could do it, but I can't imagine myself not doing it without my wife with me, because it makes it so much easier. We actually work together in the business. And I know some couples, like, they can't do that, but I mean, for us, it's been a blessing. I get to spend time with my wife, and we have a great relationship, and then we making money, and it's been a good ride for us. You want to talk?
Now, what was making you think that, Chantrell, when you was telling Keith?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said that's a bunch of mess. Ain't nobody.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, like you said, the more I listened to you and started like digging into it myself and trying to say, okay, what is this really about? It started making sense to me. And I guess the roadmap that you give is so plain. I was like, you can't mess it up. It's like, now I can see, like, especially when we went to like the workshop or whatever, I could actually see everything you were saying in the video. It's like, oh, okay, this is for real, for real.
You already heard all of it.
So I was like, I already heard all this already. So I felt at home. I didn't feel lost or nothing. It's like I had already been there before. Because when I say he listened to you every day, he listened to you every day. Yeah, because we were trying to like make sure we got every step correct, make sure we did it right the first time. And all those videos and inspirational moments and things that's still pushing us to this day. So it worked well for us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when y'all were working on, you signed the lease for the school, and then what did you do?
Well, start trying to, first of all, we turned the power on. It took about a month, because you got to pay all this high deposit. So we paid a deposit, took about a month, cut it on, because we were still working, and we were just taking money that we were earning and investing into our business. Got the power on. We hired a painter, a man named Mr. Jerry. I'm gonna shout him out because he was really a big help to us getting our building together. So we have about a 5,000 square foot building, and he was a one-man team, one-man show, and he's a great painter, and he kind of reminds you of Rain Man, because he's good at painting. Get out his way, let him paint. He'll paint for days, but this is a great person. He really helped us get the building together. So it was a lot of stuff we had to take out, even though it was a beauty college. It was a lot of stuff we had to rip out, and he helped in a lot of that stuff. So we started painting and just kind of taking it room by room, and that was kind of really the first step. We hired a contractor, and you know, we what we did was Home Depot. We went to Home Depot, and I remember you telling us the store, Home Depot, Lowe's became your best friend. That was our best friend. So you know, we really just got credit cards and just bought a lot of our stuff on credit cards, things like that. Far as the chairs, we did a lot of 4-pays. You know, that's really big now. And we was buying the chairs. My wife would buy a couple. I'll buy a couple. We'll put them in our garage, and I began putting them together. I think we had about 15 or 16 chairs. I put them together in our garage, and every time we lift the garage up, people would stop thinking we opened up a barbershop in the garage, because it was during the pandemic. And once we got everything built, the chairs, and built out to school, we took the chairs there on the U-Haul and began setting up the school. But I mean, it was a process, but you know, we kind of managed it. We didn't try to do everything at one time. We worked together. We really got a lot of blood and sweat and tears in our business, even though we had to hire some people to do a lot of work. A lot of the work we did on our own.
We actually went up. So after a while, after you pay all these contractors, that's a bit much right there. So like you said, a lot of things we try to cut costs with. When we had like paint the cabinets and things, we got down there and painted the cabinets ourselves. So we ain't paying nobody else. We're gonna do this ourselves. So we went over there, I think, to Lowe's and got out, found out color schemes and things like that, because we wanted an elegant look. I didn't want to slap any old thing together, because I feel like presentation is everything. So, and a lot of times people are eye creatures. So if you can catch an eye, you can get a person. So we did all the chandeliers and nice chairs or whatever. And most people think it's just a big, lavish barbershop, but we run it like a school. Now, cleanliness to me is next to godliness, and I love cleanliness. So, and I take a whole lot of pride in keeping our things clean and nice and neat together. And most of the time, because people are from different backgrounds and things, their way of cleaning and your cleaning is two different things. So you have to keep that at the top of your list. Like if that's your top 5, you keep that at your top 5. For me, that's number 1. I say number 2, outside of customer service. Customer service and cleanliness. The first thing people say because they go and they do reviews on you all the time. Sometimes you know about it, sometimes you don't. And they're going there and you mess around and see something nasty. They'll be like, oh, this was the nastiest place. Customer service okay, but it was nasty in there. That's the last thing you want to hear. Like bad communication. They didn't talk to you. I walked in the door, nobody said nothing. Stuff like that. You want to kind of kill all that. And I think with us setting a standard for our business, our students follow that. Because people only follow what they see. So if they see you doing a thing, they like, okay, they fall in line, and we go. We try to run our business like a family. We take our students in like family. And like we said in a lot of our videos, we're gonna hold your hand from the time you hit this door to the time you graduate. And I still got people calling me to the day, Ms. White, I need some, Ms. White. I said, okay, now I don't cut the cord, y'all, because I don't literally walk them to the door, to the state board door. It was like, okay, this is what you do. I have to sign them up to get their tests and stuff done. I didn't leave them and say, okay, now you got your certificate, now you going about your business now. No, we hold their hand to make sure that they got a job, to make sure that they signed up for the test, to make sure they got their permission to work. We make sure they get all of that before they hit the door. So we take a lot of pride in our business, and it's working.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, when y'all got approved, so you got approved from the state board and you got that certificate, you passed the inspection. How did that feel?
Well, for me, it was just a relief. All the hard work we've been through, trying to get it together, and you're kind of nervous, but when our inspector came in, he walked through the place, and he's like, man, y'all trying to take the necks off. He said, y'all trying to take the necks off. I mean, he was so impressed by how clean and how everything was together. He was really impressed by our business. So it was it really wasn't stressful or nothing like that, because like my wife said, we took a lot of pride in how we put it together and how it looked. But you kind of had the jitters, but as soon as it came in, I mean, the way his expression, he was impressed. So it really made getting inspected and all that stuff was pretty simple, pretty easy. But we did make sure we checked every box. We went through the regulations, make sure we checked every box, and that was pretty simple, really. How did you feel?
When State Board came, I don't think I was as nervous. I think my nervous part came in when because like I said, we was trying to set everything up during the pandemic. So a lot of the paperwork and stuff we had to do with the city, trying to set up stuff with the city and get through those inspections and things, were done online. So there was nobody there to tell you, okay, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. So you had to kind of, it was a teaching moment for me, a lot of paperwork I had to do. So I learned a lot. And I liked that part because I didn't want nobody else to do it for me, because I want to be able to know, say, okay, now this is how you do that, this is how you do that. Because when you have somebody to do it for you, you know nothing about your business. So I think that when you do everything and be hands-on with every aspect from the beginning to the end, I think it works better. So all my jitters came in and that fact, hoping it passed when they send that email and say, okay, we're good. I think I was getting jitters with that. So I was like, okay, we're good with that part. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Okay, we're good with that part. Okay, now let's move on to the state board, because the state board wasn't as bad as the city was, because they weren't coming out to the businesses. So everything you did, you had to talk to them and tell them, like, okay, did you do this? Did you do that? It wasn't they were coming out to check the plumbing, we coming out to check electricity, or we coming out to check anything. So you had to make sure that all your I's were dotted and T's were crossed by yourself, pretty much. So, and then by the time they came in, they said yes or no, and you like, okay, well, you didn't tell me how to do it. So I'm hoping this passed. So I think when we got past that part, then I thought everything else was a breeze. I didn't really so much worry about the state board.
Now, what about the first student? Can y'all tell us about that? When y'all enrolled the first student, was that you, Chantrell, the first student?
Well, yeah, we enrolled her as soon as we got it to go ahead, and she was, end up being, I won't say a test dummy, but we wanted to make sure all the processes work, and so we signed her up. Oh, baby, I got my permit. But soon after, we did get another student to start with her. So we started on September the 7th of 2001 or 21, and it was just us two, or them two, and myself, and we just started class. And eventually, maybe a month later, we added another student, and it was the three of them for a while. And then all of a sudden we ran a special, I think, for $199. So you could start school for $199. We ran a special, and we got 6 or 7 students off that one hit, and the school really took off after that. So yeah, just doing a whole lot of videos, pretty much every morning on Facebook or Instagram, doing a video, just walking people through the school, inviting them to come be a part of the school, and that was the practice. And people really enjoyed that. They kind of felt like they were there before they got there. They kind of really knew everything, and that's how we joined up a lot of the business. A lot of the students, they came directly from Facebook and Instagram.
Now, how does it feel to be a school owner?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I got fully in the joy part of it, but because I'm still practicing as a barber full time, because I have to service my clients just to make money, to take care of the school. But I don't have the pressure or weight of the school, as far as paying the bills at the school, but I still have to do a lot of servicing clients. And then, of course, you're servicing, you're taking care of your students too, instructing them as well. But it does bring some gratification, that something that you always wanted to do, and you're able to do it. It definitely has some gratification with that. I remember when I first put, Barber College to me on my vision board when I first put it there. Barber College. I want to open my own Barber College, and also the Beauty College. That's on there as well. But to me, a Barber College seems so big. It seemed like to some people, well, open a McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. I mean, it is so grand. It was like, oh man, how am I ever do that? But you know, of course, over time, you know, we get to the point where we were able to do it. It's really a blessing. You know, we can help so many others, and you kind of actually living out your dream. So that's the gratifying portion of it. You know, just knowing this is something that we wanted, we worked after it, and now we are able to actually walk in our business. How you make it feel?
Well, I guess like my husband was saying, I'm not to the point to where I'm just so overjoyed as of yet, but I see it coming. I think we're went from crawling to maybe up on my knees. So I'm good with that because everything is kind of, you know, everything is moving. I think see things progressing. And I think my happy moment with owning this business is that when I see people accomplish what they came there for. They actually put the time in and they get to graduate. I had so many, and my husband will tell you, every time somebody graduates, I'm up there just crying because we give them.
Both crying.
Yeah, we always be crying. I two waterheads. But I think that's the thing, especially the ones that are so serious about it, like they really want to make this happen. And for us to be a part of that journey, it means everything to me. Especially if I see them come in, like I would say on the rough side, and then they kind of mellow out and they actually start like, you know, I can see myself doing this. I think that's what's so gratifying to me. I love people. So when I see somebody accomplish something that they set out to do and I was actually able to help them, I think that's the joy for me. It's not so much the money part, but of course we're gonna, you know, if we keep down the road that we're going down, we'll make that. But I think just helping people at this point and being at a position to help them. I don't know, it gives me a joy, and that's that part.
Now, what about family members and friends, society? Can y'all tell us about that? With y'all opening this school? Because a lot of times, if you tell somebody you're gonna open a school, that's something very big, and a lot of people don't have that vision, or God, you know, didn't give them the vision or whatever. So they may say different things.
Okay, so for us, we didn't share it with nobody. And we're very close to our parents, our siblings, love them dearly. But the day we shared it with our parents, I'll never forget it. We just told them, hey, y'all meet us over here, gave them an address. We just got something to show y'all. And, you know, of course, we had all the paper on the windows and all that stuff right there. And when they walked in, it was completed. Everything was done pretty much how you see it today. We had already completed everything. They had no idea that we put together a whole school. It was about 6 months to process. They had no idea. We wanted to share it with them, but it's not that they don't believe in us and don't support us, but sometimes you just kind of want to let it manifest itself some before you start sharing it, because, you know, I mean, I got tough skin, and, you know, but, you know, sometimes I just don't want to hear, it's not to say negative, but because, you know, when people love you, a lot of it's kind of concern. It's not that they, you know, they're trying to say anything negative, but it's out of concern. So I'd rather just go ahead and put it together, and we made a pact, and you know, even our children, we told them not to tell nobody, and, you know, that, but nobody said anything. They didn't know, nobody knew nothing until you know, once we shared it with our parents. Of course, we shared it with the family and everything, everybody else, but yeah, we just kept it to ourselves. And I know a lot of people like to talk, but that's just how I do. I don't know if it's biblical or not. I'll be trying to find it in the scripture, but I like to move in silence. I don't like to tell everybody what I'm doing.
I think a lot of times it's not always good. Like my husband was saying, like family, well, our family put it like that. Our parents are our biggest supporters. But sometimes, like you say, I don't want to hear the, "Oh, you sure?" That's a whole lot. You know, sometimes you don't want to hear all that because you feel like, well, we felt like, you know, God put this on our heart. He gave us a vision. And if we give a vision, he had to give it to you. So we just want to walk it out without all the outside distractions. So, like he said, by the time they saw it, everything was already done. We were about ready to open the doors. So that works for us. A lot of times when you think somebody would say, "Oh girl, oh boy, y'all go ahead, you good," that's the very time you don't hear it. Like, what you want to do that for? Nobody wants to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're a weak-hearted person, you mess around and fold up everything, pack your boxes, you going back to the house or going back to wherever you was doing before because you feel like, well, they don't believe in me. Why should I believe in me? And I'm about going back to the house. But a lot of times you just have to have that keep that faith and believe, okay, God gave me this. He's gonna make a way for me to set all this stuff up, and he's gonna make it go. Now, many a times we was like, babe, what we gonna do? But when I say he showed up every time, he's continuing to do that. That's how you know that that's how we feel like we know that we're on the right track.
Yeah. And so what did y'all parents say when they walked in there?
Oh man, mouth dropped wide open. Mouth dropped. I mean, they were very happy. I mean, you know, they was grinning from ear to ear. They couldn't believe it. I mean, but it was all good. It wasn't nothing negative or anything. It was all good. And you know, they'd be in awe of, it's not us, but like how God uses us or how God blesses us. They'd be in awe of some of that stuff. So yeah, so yeah, that was just one of them, you know, one of the moments where their mouth was dropped open. But I mean, they love it. My parents, they are weekly. You know, my parents are they're both living. They're in their 80s, and they come weekly to get a service. So I do my mama eyebrows every week, and I cut my daddy's hair every week, and they are so proud when they come in the school, you know, and they get the chance to interact with some of the students. And so it's been a joy for them coming in. So yeah, we love it.
I think my parents, especially my dad, the day we told him, we sit here like we walking through, like showing them where everything is or whatever. And we all get back to the front of the building. We're sitting around, we're getting ready to go. And I look around, where my daddy at? He's still sitting over there in the chair looking around talking about, I can't believe this. He was just tickled pink. Yeah. He was like, y'all got first go.
He was trying to take it all in. He could, you know, he's trying to
one of those persons where like he don't say nothing right then. It might take him 2 or 3 months later, and then he got to get his thoughts together. But he was grinning like a chess cat the whole time. So for me, just to see, I think for me to see my parents happy in that aspect, to know like I'm doing something, and you know they like, cause you can get a certain age and be like, your parents like, you ever do things? I've always done things, but for them to see and be living, be in their right mind, and be healthy, and be able to see us, like he said, his parents are well in their 80s. So, and I think for him, I'm just looking at him when I see them come in. It's like my parents are actually able to see me do something I've always wanted to do, and for me, that gives me a joy to see him happy. So yeah, we're good.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell us about the Knackers workshop? How was about when y'all went? Can y'all tell us about that experience?
That was a lot of information.
Yeah.
But
the
like
first time it was 3 days, right?
Yeah, it was 3 days.
Yeah.
So like I said, we weren't lost. And I thought, I was like, I don't know what we're gonna hear, but it's like everything. You would think that we had already been to one already, because we were sitting beside each other at the table. We was like, okay, we already heard that. Okay, we already did that. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was confident in us to know that we're on the right track. And that, to know that you gave us the right information. So it kind of made us happy, like, okay, we're doing the right thing. So everything they said, we could agree. We was like, okay, we did that. We was checking out the box, like, okay, we did that. Okay, I understand that. So we weren't in like a foreign world when it came to that. I kind of enjoyed myself, really. Very happy about it.
Yeah, it was just long for sitting in the classroom, but I mean, it was good to see other some of them like I was looking at, I was like, boy, they got to be millionaires. You could tell how they was carrying themselves at the millionaires. You know, we were just trying to pick them out, so they been had, you know, they been had their accreditation. So it was interesting, fun. I look forward to going back and just going ahead and continuing our, you know, a journey for us getting accredited.
Yes, it's saw some people, right?
Yeah, and I saw what's my man name from was it Milwaukee?
Vernon?
Not Vernon, not Vernon.
Eric.
Clipponomics.
Tony
Clipponomics.
Mack. Tony Mack.
Yeah. So Tony. Yeah. We got a chance to chop it up with him. And it was another lady that I recognized from the mastermind group. So that was cool. You know, we kind of seeing some people on the same path with you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what would y'all tell, I guess, some people that are thinking about opening a school or wanting to open a school? What would y'all share with them? Because there's people on here right now looking, and then it'll be people from YouTube, Facebook watching this video too. I guess just like y'all were looking or whatever, what would y'all tell them?
You know, I say be prayerful about it now. But it's not impossible. You know, you don't want to just don't think it's so easy, but it is possible. And you know, get with the Millionaire Barber, of course. You know, so you get that that blueprint. Everything is in the blueprint. So right now we're going through process of doing our ISS, and I mean, I find everything there. Just kind of working through everything, putting everything together now. So just get the blueprint. It got all the enrollment agreements, all the stuff, all the information you need. Day one, we've been running our school like a NACS accredited school from day one. So far as surveys, far as the SAP, the SAP, the SAP, and we've been running our school day one as of accredited school. So all we doing now with the ISS, we just putting paperwork together because we've already been doing it since we been there. And that's simply because, you know, learning of the Millionaire Barber, and also, you know, our faith in God. I credit anything and everything we do to our faith in God and the Millionaire Barber. Huh?
I say if running the school, like you say, it's not easy, but you just gotta be consistent. I think consistency is key. And of course you're gonna run, you know, a couple of bumps in the road here and there. But like I said, if you know that that's the road that you want to be on, just stay on it. Stay on it. I don't care what happens, stay on it, and eventually you get to where you want to be. Like we on the road, we ain't got where we want to be yet, but we can see a little glimmer of light. So
gotta stay on the road. Can't give up.
Yeah.
You know, to get a little rough, just keep going. You know, keep plugging, and it's gonna turn around for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you all would see other people on here sharing their story just like you are, what would you all be thinking?
Well, I mean, I enjoy pretty much mostly everybody that you had on. It's just like, you know, I can relate. Gerard, I like Gerard's story a lot. So anytime he would get on, I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna get Gerard, my man. I don't know him in that, but that's my man, you know, on Facebook or in Instagram. And then also with what's my brother in Chicago?
Kamasi.
Kamasi. Yeah, every time Kamasi on, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be like Kamasi one day. So you know, I was inspired by, you know, the different barbers that you would bring on, and then I started following them on social media, things like that. So it made me think that I could do it as well. You know, I remember one of the guys from Mississippi, and to hear his story, maybe you know what, man, I played his story over and over again. And then there was another brother. I don't know if his name was Tony, but he talked about in his story that there was a beauty school open, closed in his area, and he had a chance to get it, but he didn't. So at the same time, I'm listening to his story. You know, we were plotting on getting this beauty school, but it worked out for us. We was able to get the beauty school, and it's our barber college. So I've always been inspired by the different stories that we would hear. So that's why we on today. My wife would always say, "Baby, why don't you go on there because you got a story to tell as well." So, you know, this last week I said, I'm getting on Instagram with Chin and kind of share my story because, you know, like you said, it might inspire somebody just like somebody else's story inspired us. So, you know, that's why we on tonight.
Well, I'm inspired because I don't even know these people. But he used to talk about, he's called, we were out there talking, the so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm like, who this? When he first started talking, I was like, who are these people? I'm like, he was talking about these people and their stories as if he already met them. That's how engulfed he was into it. So he was so interesting. That's what made me want to, I said, okay, well, let me dig up and see what talking about. So I listened to you a couple times, and I ain't gonna tell you no lie. First time I was like, he lying, ain't nobody doing all that. I said, God, I'm true. That's what I said. But after a while, I became a believer. And then when we started putting, walking to what these papers were saying, it made a whole lot of sense to me. So yeah, I'm a believer now. Yeah, I'm there.
We'll get this. We coming that next millionaire barber. Then we be all the way there. We all the way in there.
Yeah, when you get accreditation, they start wiring that money to your bank account.
Yes, sir.
We're waiting.
How close?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a show up a little.
Do y'all have time for some questions? Because it's a lot of questions over here.
Sure.